I'm going to tell you a secret, and don't tell anybody, okay? Even though this is going on the internet.
We want to make sure that we are defunding the police and utilizing those resources to invest in our communities.
The snow is on my head, the snow is on my head. Oh no, I'm very cold, the snow is on my head.
Hi, this is Tim.
It's ComeAllah Harris. Good morning, Governor.
Good morning, Madam Vice President.
Listen, I want you to do this with me. Let's do this together. Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
And they did say they are working on a plan right now on how we move forward, how we allow people to feel and grieve.
Snow, snow, go away, come again another day. Snow, snow, you make it hard to go outside and play.
Ready, set, go.
Breaking news here on this Tuesday morning. According to multiple sources, Governor Tim Watz, governor of Minnesota here, picked to be Vice President ComeAllah Harris's running mate.
As governor, Walz presided over the George Floyd riots, which resulted in more than $500 million in damages to the Twin Cities. Walz took days to mobilize the National Guard, despite pleas from local officials. Last year, Walz signed a bill promising abortion on demand and made Minnesota a so-called trans refuge state for minors seeking transgender medical intervention.
The main thing that we heard is that the state is now in charge. The state took charge after the 3rd precinct in Minneapolis was taken over by rioters, by people who are setting it on fire.
Well, you pretty much need a driver's license to do anything these days, but people without legal status are not able to get one. A proposal known as Driver's Licenses for All aims to reverse that.
And in just the last hour, the Minnesota House passing that legislation.
Yeah, Randy, and we want to tell you that this is a top priority of Democrats who control the state legislature. The bill still has to pass the Senate, but Governor Tim Watz has said he supports it.
We also heard that when they actually did go over and take back the 3rd precinct with the State Patrol and the National Guard, it was dangerous work. We heard questions about should this have been done sooner? Should the National Guard have been called in? Should the governor have acted sooner? He said we are all looking at these decisions. Here's the governor right now. Take a listen.
How do we rebuild? How do we rebuild trust in the police? How do we rebuild those stores? How do we rebuild a society? How do we send that face to the world that sees us for so many positive things, but we need to recognize this is what they're seeing, and we need to take a hard look and figure out how do we change that.
And they did say they are working on a plan right now on how we move forward, how we allow people to feel and grieve and talk about what has happened since the death of George Floyd.
The idea of marking a license in such a way that it reveals something about someone's immigration status to people who don't need to know that about them opens up the possibility of more people being targeted by this kind of hatred and division and oppression that we see in our world.
It's a felony to vote in Minnesota knowing that you're ineligible. The Secretary of State's office, though, has said that it does have a way to distinguish people with driver's licenses from people who are eligible to vote or not.
Oh no, I'm very cold, I'm covered up in snow.
Oh no, I'm very cold, I'm covered up in snow.
Walz beat out Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, called Genocide Josh by pro-Palestine supporters.
I graduated from high school with a 1.75 GPA by the skin of my teeth. Whenever I go across the country and people find out I'm from Minnesota, they're like, ugh,